Okay, based on the response I got from Chrome that it was too much stuff, that it would be intimidating, I guess, for beginners. I guess you can see now I have reduced the menu. I am just going to go through them one by one to show you what's there. So word line count is this. It shows you that literally. And then clipboard history is clipboard history. It just shows it there, and then when you click that, then it goes away. I have these. Now let me just right click me and show this again in the file sidebar, which I now have in the right click menu. So this is, I'm going to go through this in a minute to show you, but this is basically the bulk of the commands that they'll use, and I have shortcuts to these, and I say which ones they are, obviously. Okay, so let me just go to this one so you can see the spaces and all. I just left that in because I think that that's kind of useful sometimes. But that's over here in this menu, tucked up in the top left. It's not in the right click menu because it's not going to be a common action. And end of line characters and all this, the reason why I have show the character panel sidebar is because if they want to insert one of these characters, they can, since they're looking at those kind of characters anyway. But all that is just tucked in this menu. For more advanced users, they might want to use it from time to time for whatever reason. If you think I should remove it and just have show white space and tab just for them to know about spacing if they're a neat freak, then I can just do that. But for that, I wanted to mention that there is a command here in this menu, which was originally an edit, but I moved it over here because there was just so many things. But remove spaces at the end of all lines, so that's going to remove, as it says, I renamed it that way so it tells you exactly what it's going to do, so that if there's miscellaneous lines like this, I just run this, and then all the lines in the active file are going to be cleaned, so to speak, trimmed from the right side. Only from the right side. It's not going to, there was another command for before the lines, but that would remove all of the indents and everything. I just thought that wouldn't be good. It's better just say Control A and just keep shift tabbing until it's all removed rather than do that, because, and I don't think that would be a common action anyway. And I renamed some of these to simpler names down here. I left this menu alone, and color themes is the same. So it's going to look like this. I just renamed it to actual things. I don't know how many will be the limit in the menu, but we may not have more than 10, but in time we might have more. It doesn't matter. Settings, I just have this now. And language is the same. So now let me show the right click menu. For full screen mode and for max vertical workspace mode, I call it, it hides this menu up here for both of them. So I put in the right click menu purposely because of that logic, where if you can't see the menu anyway to turn it on and off, then why do it? And I'm going to show there's a shortcut key to both of them. I think this one is F11 and this one is F12. So I'm going to put that in this right click menu after I finish recording this video. This is just what I had last time, and now I just have in the right click menu instead. That button was actually here to turn this off and turn it back on, but I replaced that with this drop down because this drop down was in edit, so it was a double drop down to get to these commands, and since I thought it was so many commands, it merited its own main menu item drop down. So this is for this is a shortcut to do this, so when they want to compile something and they're starting afresh, they can move it to the other view with no problems just by doing that. Clone to other view, if y'all don't know, is basically how it sounds. Is if you want to work on the same document and you want to have it side by side like this, if I right click on here and I say rotate to left, for example, then I can see it side by side. And my screen is really small right now because I'm only recording in a 1280 by 720 space, so that's why it looks so crowded. But that's basically what this is. So you can edit the same file in two different locations. That's the limit though. It's only, you can only have 2 split screens in Notepad++ as far as I know. But to get rid of it, you just say move to other view. That's how you undo clone to other view as well as move to other view. You undo them both with move to other view. This one I thought would be good to have like precisely in this part of the right click menu, because it's probably going to be a very common action if they don't use the shortcut key Control G to get to it. And also find as well. Find files in directory. I wrote it in my last post, I believe, as a comment. But I didn't know that they had this in Find in Notepad++, but this is pretty cool. So you can choose a directory and then just choose this whole folder, so that if, like me for example, if I want to have access to a whole bunch of map scripts and just to see example code that I can use for the code snippets, that would be very great for me, just to search for a specific function and then pull up the file that has it in use. So that's one use I can think of immediately for me, and for anyone else who wants to volunteer and make the code samples for each of the functions. I think people will probably use this one the most, more than multi-line, but I have multi-line also. And just one note about multi-line is that usually it's just with the curly braces, but I found that with the compiler and the game itself, it's going to, if you have one comment block that's commented like this, and then you would do another, with the curly brace I'm saying, instead of these symbols here, and then you would have another curly brace to comment that and more, then what would happen is it would give an error until you erased all but one of those curly brace blocks, so to speak, the innermost one. But this particular symbol will not cause an error in the compiler if you use that for a multi-block. So that's why I actually originally had the curly brace as delimiters, but now I just have this symbol as delimiters instead because of that. So just an FYI as to why I have, like, when I right click on this and I say a multi-line comment, or I can say Alt-Shift-C to uncomment it, the multi-block version. And this is for Control Q. You just press it and it toggles it back and forth. So that's probably what people mostly will use, but I'm just talking about this right now. That's why I have this symbol for the block. These are the shortcuts that I decided to change it to. I think I told KaM and everyone who saw the first video about these. So for function, if I just click anywhere in here and I press alternate D, then it's going to minimize it. If I press alternate F, it's going to maximize it. And I changed the shortcut keys for maximize all, minimize all, so that they're something very related. So minimize all if I just click it from this menu, and then maximize all. For anyone who doesn't know about Notepad++, what's really great about this is column mode. So if you press the alternate key and just hold it, and now click here, then all of a sudden you have this, and now you can literally just delete that if you wanted to. So that's just a cool thing about it that I think might have advantage over other editors. Maybe the other IDE has that feature, maybe it doesn't, but I'm going to press Control Z to undo that action. I left this in here for column mode, so I left that note in just in case people don't remember. So that wasn't even on this menu, that was just a random thing. But for bookmarks, I think this might be good. Just let me know. Just like in Firefox, that's what I use for internet browser. It's Control D to bookmark, so I just made that the same shortcut key. And for going to previous, I just have it as, you can see it, it's alternate up, and then going to next is alternate down. So alternate up, let me press it, alternate up again. So you see alternate down, and then I have that you can clear all bookmarks on the right click menu, which is doesn't need a shortcut key because it's probably not used that often compared to the other ones. And then I have uppercase and lowercase. So just let me know if that's good. And I mean, I couldn't, there, you could see that there's an extra space between color themes and sort and organized lines, as well as between edit/view and language. I couldn't do anything to fix that, but hopefully it doesn't look that bad. And just one quick note, for some odd reason, when I was editing the menu, if I did something just a little wrong in the menu item names, sometimes Windows 10 would detect this executable as a Trojan, which doesn't make sense. So I hope that this is not detectable as a Trojan. It's currently not by my version of Windows 10 that I have. I disabled updates since I got this computer, so I really don't know. But I just wanted to say that note that hopefully by changing the menus up here in this way from the default does not make that an issue for us. But if it does, then I can just redo the whole thing and just have the right click menu as it is here, and that will be the main commands that they use anyway. And then I'll just have to tell them to, just to be safe, just to go to the run menu. That's where the color themes are, and I'll just do that. But currently right now it's not detecting it as a Trojan, mysteriously, that it did before, but now it doesn't, because I just, like I had, if I put a main menu item with a ... so if I put color themes and then a ... then it detects it as a Trojan.